We're going to move to Thursday quickly with Martha Saavedra, who is going to be teaching the global politics of sport.
Okay, so I did not plan to take up the study of sport myself. My work, as many of you know, has been on African agrarian politics and the role of women's role in food security. But several years ago, in the faculty lunchroom at St. Mary's College, one of my colleagues challenged me to actually teach on something that I had been very passionately discussing, which was my own Title IX battles fighting for varsity status for the women's soccer team that I was on in college. So I took up his challenge and began to seriously look at the social, political, and economic implications of sport. We do know that sport is big business globally, but it has also been used by states and political entrepreneurs to achieve policy outcomes and assert power. So from the early 19th century, Scandinavian proponents of gymnastics using it as a way to find health and hygiene for the nation, to the ambitious Pierre de Coubertin, who is trying to figure out ways to balance the ideals of global peace and nationalism and coming up with what we know now as the Olympics. It has also been used as a way for people outside of the power structures to resist and assert their autonomy. So some of the most revered heroes of the Algerian Revolution are the FLN-11, a football team, soccer team of people who left Europe, Algerians who left their professional sport in Europe and went and formed this team that went around the world and fought on the soccer pitch for the revolution. I also know that within sport, there's a lot about singing and movement here today, but also sport is physicality, performance, and it's about claiming space. So it's a place where people can reflect on and reflect the social norms of their communities. And again, it's also where people resist it. So for instance, one of the most transgressive acts is for women to play football in much of the world. In the United States, it's pretty normal, but elsewhere, for women to play football, it often is called evil. Evil. And I'll tell you who said this first. Somebody in Britain in 1921. They banned women's football in Britain for 50 years. How does that happen? Why is it so evil? So this is partly the things that have pulled me into it, and then pulled me back into the work that I've been doing on development, because now sport has been used by many in the development community to say they can create peace, they can bring health, they can support their communities through economic development through the use of sport. So there's a huge movement right now in sport, peace, and development. I think that I want to explore this and help to take it apart a bit, to remind people that it's not necessarily a new thing, and to look at some of the power and social structures that bring us to this moment in sport, and to mobilize the passions. And this is an Olympic year, so I think it's a fitting time to examine sport globally. So,
great, thank you.
Of course. Yeah.